Hi and welcome. My name is Svea and this is me. I started this channel in January and I realized that I never really introduced myself. So I thought I would do that. I took a bit of a break because I had some technical issues. So this is kind of a new start for me now. Unfortunately, 1.5 years ago, I had to move back to my parents' place because I developed long COVID and I got also diagnosed with other chronic illnesses throughout this process of finding out that I have long COVID. So I had to stop working. I was self-employed as a musician and producer, and I was working creatively. I'm still really used to that kind of work, so I thought I would start a new project that I can still do while being chronically ill and also living quite far away from any major cities where some cultural things are happening. So this is my little baby right now, to document my calm little life here in the forest with all the things that I'm spending my time with. So I got a new camera, which is really exciting. I can do this vlog style, which I'm really unsure about, but maybe. So my work as a musician was pretty heavily electronic based throughout the last years, and that is kind of an issue for me now because I'm really sensitive to sounds and I can't tolerate loudness and noise. So I got back to practicing the piano sometimes. Sometimes it's too much, but I can manage to do that. I also like writing, like short essays or maybe even poems sometimes. And I just also started a Substack. I will link it below if you're interested. This is my best friend. Her name is Fenchel, which is the literal translation to fennel in German. This name somehow happened, but it stuck, and we've been together for 7.5 years, and we're inseparable. I also got really obsessed with knitting over the last years. I've been knitting since I was a little child, so I learned the skill how to knit quite early, but over the last years I got really obsessed with it, and now I'm knitting every day and I'm like a cloth making machine now. Another very exciting new thing in my life are bees. My neighbor asked me if I want to help him beekeep and learn from him, so I obviously said yes. And I will probably make a separate video about my bees because it was quite a challenge, and it still is. They've been sick and currently they don't have a queen bee. They swarmed and almost froze to death in the rain outside, and I had to rescue them and bring them inside to warm up. I'm really happy to learn how to care for these little cute beings, and I don't really do it for the honey. If there's something left over, I will use it, but my interest is just how they live and how to care for them and give them a nice home to pollinate all my vegetables in my garden, which is a nice side effect. Yeah, so far they've been really nice to me. I've never been stung. Let's hope they will make it. They're still not in a safe zone, but it's really exciting to learn this new skill. I also like to grow my own vegetables, and I got my own little space in my parents' garden, but most of the space we care for together, which is really nice. And last year I grew a lot of different varieties of kale, so this year I'm trying other things as well. So here I'm digging holes for my sweet potatoes that I grew slips myself and then rooted them in water. I've grown sweet potatoes once before, but let's see how it's going. Another interest of mine are clothes in general, and I really like to sew myself and design clothes. I use old patterns from around the 80s until the early 2000s. Some of them I find in thrift stores and some of them my mother has. I also really love thrifting and finding clothes that I can transform into something else. This is something that I've done for quite some time, and here I'm creating a pattern from some shorts I have that I want to recreate in another fabric. I cut up an old button-up shirt to gather the fabric from. I think I'm happy with them. And finally, I really got back into reading. I used to read a lot when I was a teenager, and then I somehow stopped in my 20s. But now I've been consistently reading for over a year, and I would love to talk a bit about my favorite books on here. So this is what's to be expected from my little project. if you're interested, you are welcome to follow along and be part of this little cozy experience. Stay tuned. Bye.